Mike Williams from the LA Chargers. Bucket, he is going to be an absolute superstar this season down in the red zone. Had 10 touchdowns a season ago. Gets to elevate into the number 2 role opposite Keenan Allen, and I think Phillip Rivers is going to find him early and often. This is a guy that can take the ball off the rim, does a great job winning the alley-oops, but he's also a pretty effective route runner. I think the time is now for him to break out. He has an outstanding 2019 season.
Yeah, look, he's an acrobatic player, especially down there in the red zone. Fades, you can throw little corner routes to him. He goes up and plays above the rim. I like that pick. My number 5, I'm going to go Eric Ebron, the tight end. We saw last year what he could do with the Indianapolis Colts. He's going to have opportunity. They love to throw the ball when they get down there inside the red zone. Saw double-digit touchdowns last year. I think we see it again this year. Great quarterback plus opportunity, and you have the talent of Eric Ebron. He's number 5.
Hey, Eric Ebron really came on like gangbusters. Frank Wright did a great job creating opportunities for him. I'm going to take that same formula, and I'm going to apply it to the next guy at 4, Jimmy Graham for the Green Bay Packers. And I know what people are saying. Jimmy Graham is no longer the Jimmy Graham that we knew and loved a couple years ago when he was a fantasy football legend. However, I'm saying he gets an opportunity to bring it back with Matt LaFleur. They have Davante Adams, but they really don't have another established weapon on the perimeter. Jimmy Graham now can be elevated to that number 2 role. He can be a guy that they can go to down in the red zone. I believe Matt LaFleur will script up some things to allow him to get into paint repeatedly. I think Aaron Rodgers begins to fall in love with Jimmy Graham and what he's able to do down the red zone.
I like you going bold there, Buck. Nice little bold call there with Jimmy Graham. I'm going to go number 4 for me. I'm going to say, look, number 1 receiver is somebody that can win in the red zone, can win on third down, and win in the red zone is something DeAndre Hopkins does extremely well. Best hands in the National Football League, play above the rim, attack the football, and finish. That's what he does as well as anybody. Plus, if you do a little toe tap back there, Hopkins has no problem doing that either.
No, he certainly doesn't have a problem putting the ball in the paint. Does a great job of winning those 50-50 balls down in the red zone. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to go to Philadelphia, and I'm going to go Carson Wentz's number 1 target. And I'm going to say that is Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is a big-time tight end. We haven't listed a tight end, but really he's a jumbo wide receiver. He's a guy that runs routes like a number 1 receiver. He can own and dominate linebackers and safeties on the perimeter, and we've seen it. When Carson Wentz is playing well, Zach Ertz is one of the biggest beneficiaries. I think Carson Wentz gets back to playing at an MVP level. That means Zach Ertz scores a lot of touchdowns in Philly this year.
Yeah, he can go down there in the red zone, real refined route runner, and that shows up in a big way, and you'll see production there. I'm going to go to receiver, which I don't know if it's possible to catch 111 balls and 13 touchdowns and still not have your name be talked about. But that's what happened with Davante Adams. What he did last year for the Green Bay Packers was spectacular, and I think that's going to only continue as he grows in the position. I don't even think he's tapped all of his potential at this point in time in his career, Buck. He's obviously on the same page with his quarterback, but down there in the red zone, 13 touchdowns last year, I think he equals or betters that number this year.
Oh, absolutely. He's a guy that should get a ton of touches, ton of targets. Part of the reason why they brought Matt LaFleur in is because of his creativity. He'll find a way to get Davante Adams going. The guy who is always up and going, who always does a great job no matter what he's doing, that's Antonio Brown. I believe the change in location doesn't affect his production. He had 15 touchdowns a season ago playing with Ben Roethlisberger. I think he probably hits that number this year playing with Derek Carr. John Gruden is always looking for a player that he can build that passing game around. Well, AB is that ultimate player. Outstanding route runner, great job catch and run specialist. And even though he's not necessarily a big receiver, he consistently finds a way to score touchdowns. It continues. John Gruden finds his feature guy, and he wants to prove to the football world that he was right by making the deal. AB scores a lot of touchdowns for the Oakland Raiders.
AB comes in at number 2 for you. Number 2 for me is what I believe is the number 1 tight end in the NFL, and that's Travis Kelce. No more Rob Gronkowski. He's gone off to retirement, so there is no debate. Kelce is that guy, and you look at what he did last year with 10 touchdowns, and last year a lot of those touchdowns got vultured, to use a fantasy football term, on that little speed shovel. We saw so many of those little speed shovel touchdowns inside the 5-yard line. Maybe the league makes an adjustment there, and they actually have to throw the ball into the end zone. If that's the case, I think Kelce's numbers jump even higher.
Hey, Kelce is a monster. He is a bad dude, but maybe the baddest man on the planet that we know as the football world, Julio Jones. Julio Jones is number 1 on my list. He's a dominant player. He's a freak of nature. He is reunited with Dirk Cutter. Dirk Cutter comes over. I think he's going to produce fireworks in this offense that he has an opportunity to run with the Atlanta Falcons. Dirk Cutter will push the ball down the field. He'll help Matt Ryan become an even better player. And I think if Matt Ryan is better, Julio Jones is better. They score points. Julio Jones is a dominant player. Look for him to dominate in the NFC South.
Well, look, Julio Jones is as athletic as anybody in the National Football League. There's no doubt about that. But when I was coming up with my number 1 guy, I had to put myself in this frame of mind, Buck. If my job depended on it, and we're in the red zone, and I've got one ball to throw, who do I trust to either get open, box a guy out, and finish with the football? And I don't have anybody in the National Football League I trust more than Michael Thomas from the New Orleans Saints in that role. Now, look, there might be times where he'll shake a guy and get free. There's going to be other times where it's going to be contested. I just know the guy is so dang competitive, and he's so strong and so physical, he's not going to let me down. So I'm going to go Michael Thomas as my number 1 guy. What do you think about that one?
Well, man, I think a lot about that one. I think he finally has beat both of us down, that he is now number 1 on the list, no matter, because we don't want the pushback. But no, seriously, he is a dominant player. He's
can't guard Mike.
Yeah, you can't guard him. He has been a terrific addition to this offense. The chemistry and connection between he and Drew Brees, and the way that Sean Payton knows how to create opportunities for him. I mean, look, it's hard to bet against this guy putting the ball in the paint repeatedly. He's a dominant player, much like all of the guys on this list, our top 10 in terms of putting the ball in the paint.
Click here to subscribe to the NFL YouTube channel, and click here to subscribe to the Move the Sticks podcast.